Welcome, welcome! It's my dog with the Texas Space Navy bringing you another Star Citizen video. And today I thought I would talk a little bit about the state of dogfighting in Star Citizen. This is going to be a very contentious subject. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody is right. Everybody is wrong. This is going to be a topic that I would expect a lot of people to leave comments on with their opinions and how I'm wrong or maybe I'm right or whatever. I don't see that there's a right and wrong because this game is still an alpha. They're still balancing everything. But right now, the meta of dogfighting is light fighters, specifically the Gladius and the Arrow. Those two will dominate most PvP fights. Now, if you're going against AI, you could use anything and be fine. The AI just isn't there yet because of all the server stuff that the server's keeping track of. But if you're going against other players, you need to have some skill in order to win most of those engagements. There are some players out there that are so skilled that you may not have a chance. But there are quite a few players, maybe 5 to 10% of the community that are extremely good dogfighters. And then I would say probably another 60 to 70% are in that middle range. And then everybody else is in the I just got in a ship, how do I fly territory. So, why is the meta light fighters? Well, the reason why light fighters are so effective in PvP right now is because their turn radius is so much faster than anybody else. And if you get into a furball with one, into a fairly close fight, the light fighter is going to win every time because it can turn faster than a heavy fighter or a medium fighter. So that's why the Gladius and the Arrow are kings of the world right now. It's because their turn rate is so much faster than a Hornet or a Vanguard or an Ares or something like that. Let's talk about Ares too, because that is another contentious subject that is dogfighting related. The Ares got nerfed after it came out. Used to, it could 1 and 2 shot every fighter just about. In my opinion, deservedly so. It's got a big ass size 7 gun on it. It should do massive damage if you hit. CIG's next balance pass to it was to nerf the crap out of it and do a lot less damage, have a faster fire rate, and make it to where it can't hit anything at range, which is pretty opposite from what they pitched the ship as when it first came out. Montoya did a very awesome video on this, talking about the Ares specifically, and I only want to touch on it for a little while, but it's not the ship that it was promised, the Ion anyways. The Ion's not supposed to have a laser repeater, it's supposed to have a laser cannon on it, and a cannon should do massive amounts of damage. And again, I know we are early in the game's development, we're still in alpha, they're still rebalancing everything. This is not going to be the final state of the Ares, but it's crap. The Ion is crap. Now, this is a discussion I had with some org mates the other day, that they didn't feel like it was bad, that it was a good nerf. And personally, I still feel like it's a really bad nerf for that ship. It does not live up to its potential. And they say, well, it's designed to take on big ships. Well, yeah, I know it's designed to take on big ships. But if you happen to get engaged by a smaller ship and you can land a shot, it should be very painful to the point where that smaller ship may not want to do business with you anymore. You know what I mean? So that's what I feel that the Ares should be. I mean, that's what it was pitched as, is this big old cannon that could just absolutely lay waste to anything smaller than a capital ship. The capital ship, it was said, well, you can take them on, but you're not going to be able to single-handedly kill them. At least that's the idea. You'll need a few of these in order to do that. Maybe some Infernos to chip away at some of the armor that you're going to go up against. So what is the answer to the nerf or going back to what it was. Well, first of all, where it was before, where you could 1- and 2-shot most ships that were fighters, I felt was fine. A lot of people wouldn't feel that it was fine, and I would say that your approach when you see that it's an Ares should be one with caution and not in a straight line. Now, that is almost like saying get good. It's horrible. It's not a good opinion. It's a horrible, I guess, tactic to tell somebody that's trying to avoid getting one-shot by an Ares. Nobody wants to get one-shot by anything, right? Which is why they nerfed it. But I would say that it would be easier to avoid getting one-shot by a big old cannon like that than it is to survive an encounter with somebody that's very, very, very skillful and in a light fighter now. Like, I mean, they went from one extreme to another, almost. I don't know. I feel like the Ares is in a horrible spot right now. It needs to be fixed. Maybe make it less accurate at longer range, but give it back its punch. I don't have the answer. I think that's going to have to go through several different balance passes before we get there. As far as light fighters, I don't think that they should be the meta. Right now, that's fine, because they're balancing. But why buy a medium fighter? Why buy a heavy fighter? My workmates would say to take on bigger ships. Well, why would you even bother getting those if a Gladius can take on every size ship up to a capital? I mean, it would be pointless. You know, when does armor come into play? How does armor affect those engagements? Yes, let's say a Gladius can outturn a Hornet, but is that armor going to play a factor? Is the armor going to allow the Hornet to somehow backward strafe and get on target to be able to power through the rate of turn that the Gladius has on it? I mean, some people would say if you can get behind them, you can stay behind them. And, you know, why get a medium ship? Why get a heavy ship? CIG has to answer this. They have to figure out the balance based off of that rule. I mean, they can't just say, well, yeah, I mean, if skillful light fighter can take on and beat every heavy fighter and every medium fighter. Well, that shouldn't be the case. What if there's a skillful medium fighter pilot or a skillful heavy fighter pilot? I mean, theoretically, those ships should be able to beat the light fighter if everything else is equal. I guess, you know, if range has something to do with it, but inevitably the range is going to be close, and that will favor the light fighter every time. So how do they deal with the balance of dogfighting? And again, I don't necessarily have the answers to this. I can tell you that light fighters do fly nice. They do really well in dogfights, better than the medium fighters. Heavy fighters have a chance at range. That's it. If you're using a Vanguard or you're using an Ares, you have to hope that you can hit with the big guns from range. Now, a Vanguard has much better likelihood of doing that with a 1-size-5 cannon on the front, or a repeater, or whatever it is you're using. By the way, repeaters are the meta as well. Don't use anything but a repeater right now. Cannons are useless for the most part. People can outmaneuver a cannon around because they move so slow, whereas repeaters come in very quickly and you can get multiple shots on target. So it's going to be impossible to dodge every one of them. But cannon rounds are very, very slow. So the meta is repeaters, laser repeaters. You could go with ballistics, but you're going to run out of ballistics pretty quick. They've really got a bad place for the balance of the game right now. I mean, everybody's using repeaters that are decent fighter pilots, and everybody's using lighter ships generally when going against other players. So what's the answer? You guys have an answer? Let me know in the comments down below, because I definitely don't have the answer to this right now. I think that they over-scienced the game a little bit when it comes to the flight model and having fun. You know, that's what I think. What do you guys think? Do you think they need to tone down some of it? Do you think that they need to adjust it somewhere else? What's the answer in your opinion? Do they need to adjust the turn rate of bigger ships, like maybe thrusters that can turn the ship in a crazy direction very quickly? How do you counteract light fighters being able to be so maneuverable and dominating every engagement? Is armor the answer? I don't think armor is going to end up being the answer if things stay the way they are now, just because armor is just going to be something else that the light fighter chips away at. It's just going to give it a longer time to kill. But if the light fighter stays in your blind spot the entire time, where you can't get back on target because it wins the rate fight, then it's just going to chip away at the armor and kill you. So I don't know what the answer is going to be. I hope that they come up with something, and I really hope that it comes sooner rather than later, because it's frustrating, it's annoying, and you're going to lose people from the community if it stays the meta that for a very long time. That's just the way it is. People want to use their other ships, but if their other ships are pointless, this game becomes quite boring very fast. CIG keeps releasing new ships. We want to see what all the ships can do, right? We want to enjoy every ship for different reasons. Right now, we don't have a reason to enjoy medium and heavy fighters that much. But that is my opinion on the state of dogfighting. I'm going to continue practicing my dogfighting, of course. I'm going to practice in all the variants of fighters, not only light, medium, and heavy. But I want to make sure I can perform with each of those ships the best that I possibly can. Now, I have very limited time in the game to practice, so, my skill set's not going to be as high as maybe somebody like an Avenger 1 who does play a lot, and he has some phenomenal videos out there. If you guys are interested in learning how to dogfight, that would be a good one to go to. The Legacy Instructional Series, with Legacy Flight Instructional Series would be a really good one as well, because Legacy Fleet has some very good instructional videos. And then Mongrel Squad as well. I'm kind of pipping for other people at the moment, but yeah, Mongrel Squad has some great tactical videos. Now, they're not necessarily the best one-on-one dog fighters. They're good. Avenger 1's probably better in that category, but the tactics that they employ are extremely good. So definitely some people to go check out if you're interested in learning how to dogfight a little bit better. But then in 6 months to a year, it'll probably all change again, and you'll have to relearn it anyways. So keep that in mind. With that said, I am Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy. Please hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys out in the verse.